Good morning, traders. Today is Monday, October 17th. My name is Charles, and this is the Pirate Traders live stream. The Pirate Traders live stream. All right, well, let's take a second before we talk about today to talk about last week, because what went down was really kind of unusual, and it's worth taking a second to talk about it. Okay, if you guys recall on Thursday when the market, we had bad CPI news and the overnight market had a massive... Sorry, give me 1 second here. Okay, overnight market had a massive sell-off. We opened down here at lower prices, and then the market turned around and immediately started to head higher, and it continued to build volume and push higher the rest of the day. And at the end of the day, we still had new buyers stepping into the market at the end of the day. Now, all day long, the chat was on fire, speculating about what this was. Oh, this is capitulation. Oh, this is the big players stepping in. Somebody even said, I have it on good information that the low is in. Everybody was so certain, and everybody was speculating as to what's going on and where we're going to go and what's happening. And so much time and energy was wasted trying to figure out what was going on in here, if you guys recall. And now we know. There were a bunch of short-term retail traders who bought puts way out of the money, but expiring on that day, on Wednesday, on Thursday. And they were looking for very short-term, out-of-the-money puts. They bought a ton of them in a YOLO type of bet where they were just looking to risk a tiny little money with a potential for a large return. Only the options market isn't made for that. It's not designed for all of these out-of-the-money puts. It's designed for most of the business that transacts to transact in the money, which is what the big institutional traders use the options market for, is hedging in the money, as opposed to these crazy gambling type of trades. So what happened? Well, the numbers came out. They were bad. The market sold off. We opened, and then all those traders who had bought puts previously, right, tried to take profits all at once, and it totally fucked the whole system. So all this day here, was just a giant unwinding of short-term retail traders getting themselves overly short, overly fast. And the market just had to absorb that. That's all it was. The hours and hours and hours of speculation that we all made. Is this the low? Is the market reversing? Blah, 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 blah. V-shape. People were talking about V-shapes. Like, all of that was just a dumb waste of time. Not one single person said, maybe short-term traders just got themselves overly short and we needed some short covering. Right? Nobody said that. Nobody thought maybe the market will come right back literally to where it was 2 days ago when it closes the next day. Nobody predicted that. Not one single person. And so I just bring it up as a great example. We've got to stop doing that. We've got to stop wasting time and energy worrying about what the market's doing and just go with the flow. Okay, so where does that leave us? Well, we had a P-shaped profile on that Thursday, which told us it was more short covering, less new money buying. We had a B-shaped profile the next day, which tells us that it was more long liquidation and less new money selling. So they got themselves overly short, and Thursday was to rebalance that short. Then in the end of the day and in the overnight, they got themselves overly long, and yesterday was a rebalance to bring that back in. So that's all the last 2 days were. All this chaos, all this crazy was just the market got itself overly short, had to correct. In correcting, it got itself overly long, had to correct. Okay? So what does that mean for today? Market's open in 1 minute. Basically, I have absolutely no opinion, no bias going into the morning. To me, the options here, looking at the daily, it can go up to test the resistance above. It can head right back down for continuation lower, or we could just rotate inside the previous couple days range. I could make an equal argument for all three of those happening. So I'm just going to take it one tick at a time today and let the market tell me what it's doing. Okay, so the first order of business, we're opening inside the previous day's range. We're expecting chop. We're expecting the market to just grind up and down. Because the overnight inventory was net long, we expect a move to the downside, a counter auction. So where the market finds support, And if it starts to chop, that'll give us an indication moving forward. So I am completely neutral here at the open. All right, so as of now, the market has opened and it has just gone straight up. So remember, overnight inventory was net long. Those overnights need a chance to take profit. So I would consider the A period low weak right now, as they only got one tick below the open and they're in need of some more two-sided trade. All right, so we're looking for resistance here around 36.81, which was the base of the single prints down on Friday. It's also right where the support was on Friday night that ended up breaking. Sorry, on Thursday night that ended up breaking on Friday. So often previous support becomes resistance. Good morning, John Lash, Scooball, The Shaw, Ryan, Rick, David, Phillip, Fighter Pilot, Lord MacGyver, Lord MacGyver from Greece. Hello. RK Leon, T Wark, Chillin' with Dylan, Damn Jam, Ederson, Alan, Jack, Joanne, David, Design Knob. Charles, where do you think the market will be on November 17th? I think it'll be in a different location than it currently is. Pavel, good morning to you. Dario, finished the course this weekend, and let me tell you, the price is way too cheap for the content. Well, thank you. That's the goal. That's always the goal with pirate traders, to make great information affordable to new traders. But thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, very little resistance at the base of the single prints. That's a little bit bullish to see. Next resistance is 36.89. And the question we'll be asking ourselves when we get there is, do we pull back down and turn this little node right here above the halfback into support? Okay, so we got good taper at the high, and we're starting to get some resistance. So can we find support at the halfback, 36.75? All right, well, breaking through that resistance is bullish. The fact that we didn't even need to test the halfback is bullish. So I am bullish above 36.75. Next question is, can we get above yesterday's high, 36.98, and then come back down and find some support there for continuation higher? Okay, so there's the test of not quite yesterday's high. Chilling with Dylan. This has to pull back at some point. Yes, sir. Sooner or later. But as long as they keep pushing the market higher, building in volume at higher prices, they can keep going. All right, so now we got the ticks back to the zero line. That implies that we gave any overnight traders that were long a chance to take profits if they wanted to take profits. So now we should get an idea, based on what happens with these ticks, whether there are new buyers that want to continue to push the market higher or whether we're about to run out of steam. Finding support at this zero line and continuation higher is new buyers stepping in, which would be bullish. If it starts to pull the ticks back down below the zero line, we'll be looking for support at 36.75. If that fails, then we look for the repair of the week low. But I'm still bullish until I see that, as I expect new buyers will step in. What's it going to be, Ticks? What's it going to be? Second volume cliff of the day. Short-term traders are in charge of this market. Mark, Charles, why are you thinking that new buyers will step in? Because they have been, right? Because when we opened right here, the market was only able to come one tick lower. Okay, that means it did not get a chance to do any business below that opening price. And immediately the market pushed up. Okay, no big deal. Nothing to think about there. Totally normal, right? But then it started to build a bunch of volume in here, and it just pushed up again. Boop. And that's when my spidey senses started to go off. And I started to say, wait a minute. When what should happens doesn't, when the overnight inventory is net long, and they should pull back down a little bit, but they can't. They can only get one tick. That's information. That's the market telling me something. So then I shift my thinking, and I say to myself, all right, I'm looking at this resistance. If they can get through it, I'm going to wait and see if they turn it into support, right? I was waiting for us to pull back down and test this support in here. We still can't even do that. We can't even get back to testing the support. That's new buyers up here. So then I just watched as the ticks came down and they bounced perfectly off that zero line, which is a sign there are more people buying this morning than selling. So if the overnight inventory was net long and there's still people buying, that's new buyers. What are those new buyers looking at? Probably yesterday's high, right? They're looking to take the market higher. Now let's see if they can do it. Let's see if they have the momentum. The first step on the checklist, they got to get above yesterday's high. They still haven't been able to do that. Or sorry, Thursday's high. So they got to get up there, and then they got to come back down and turn it into support. Then we know for sure they're looking to head higher. So you're absolutely right that it is a hunch based on experience, but I'm using market generated information to come to the conclusion. I'm not just guessing. I'm not just saying it feels like it needs to go higher or whatever. I'm looking at what it's doing. And I'm seeing that it's giving me information. So in the same regard that all of this information feels like the market wants to continue higher, I also know it's very short-term traders. We had a volume cliff here and a volume cliff here. So I know it's not going to last forever. So if we can find support at Thursday's high, I'm happy to look to test Friday's high. Beyond that, we're going to have to wait and see. Because they're short-term traders. If they run out of steam there, that might be what causes them to pull back. One tick at a time. Scooball, the overnight being net long and a push is a sign of momentum. Correct. That's what we're always wondering. Are there still buyers? That momentum is a sign that there are. Petrus, how do you set up the tick chart that shows buyers and sellers? Hold on one second. All right, I gave you a link there in the comments to go to my website, and I wrote all of it up so that you can see exactly how it's all set up and how to read it. The long and the short of it is, if they're above the zero line, it's new buyers. If they're below, it's new sellers. Back at the volume cliff again. Will the short-term traders buy it? Are they running out of steam? So obviously, anytime we see a node of volume like this that's very, very large, it's much larger than all the other nodes around it, that stands out to us because we know that only short-term traders do that, pile on at an exact level like that. And so what happens is if the market's able to pass through it, well, then all their stops are likely right below, so you can get a little bit of a liquidation when that level breaks. So it is less bullish to see them creating that, as it means they're fixing to get squeezed. Scuba, you added icebergs and stop losses? I did. So I've got both on the chart and the thing at the bottom showing the stops and the icebergs. I still don't exactly know what I'm looking at, but I'm excited to learn. Testing that volume clip again. Are there more buyers? Anyone? Little FOMO for anyone here? All right. Well, you guys reached 100 likes just in time for me to change my mind and no longer be bullish. I don't trust this volume cliff. So I would now describe myself as neutral, looking to test this 75 area for support once this 85 node breaks. Thank you for the 100 likes. I appreciate you. Okay, so now does this area turn into support? All right. Well, so far, halfbacks acting as support. Got the ticks back above the zero line. Can they hold it? Michael says, I expect a trading range day. It's certainly possible, especially when you look at the daily. It's an absolute mess, right? So more rotation inside of this range here would make sense. But as I've said, because it could go sideways or it could go higher or it could go lower, I'll just take it one move at a time. Right now, they're trying to take it higher. Let's wait until that fails before we think about anything else. That failing would be basically breaking back below 74. This node not holding. That would trigger a repair of the weak reference, which would pull us back down into the overnight range, and we could look for continuation lower from there. But not until this breaks. Jeremy Jones, NQ still way stuck in the range. It's not just a little bit stuck. It's way stuck. Now, I would describe NQ literally exactly the same as the ES. Market got itself overly short, P shape, shows us that it was more short covering and less new money buying, B shape. In both the overnight, well, I guess it's not in the overnight, in the regular trading hours yesterday is a sign that it was more long liquidation and less new money selling. So just like the ES, it's kind of completely neutral. And it can go either way from here. I would look for support around halfback, 11,060, and then down at 1140. If that breaks, you're heading back down through the opening price again. But as of now, just like the ES, it's building support at a higher price. So it has not broken yet. MQ? MQ? Do you ever look at the DXY during trading? No, I do not. I fully understand that you can use one thing to give you signals on another. You could look at bonds for stocks or the dollar for stocks or gold for this or that. Like you can always look at things to give you an idea of what might happen with other things. I have just found I personally have much more success trading the ES if I just look at the ES. If I just focus on the information in the actual market I'm trading, it tells me everything I need to know. Whatever reaction to something happening in the dollar or in bonds or whatever, that reaction is priced in to what I'm seeing on the S&P. Good morning, Arthur. Welcome. Screwball buyers still didn't give up. Not yet. It looks like they're fixing to, though, when you look at these ticks. They're still fighting the good fight, but they're not getting much for it. So how much longer will they continue to fight? Also, way, 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 way too early to make this call, but just for educational purposes, if the advancers versus decliners were going to be pegged at higher prices today, this would be a great way for it to start. And essentially what we'd be looking for is for it to continue to go sideways from here. No way to predict that now. I'm just saying, if you see that, if the advancers versus decliners keep going sideways, it is a sign that you can buy every dip and sell every rip, and that the market will just keep grinding its way higher as long as that keeps going sideways. Will that happen today? I don't know. I'm just pointing it out ahead of time. Chris, peg leg like a pirate? Yeah, I guess a pirate that's laying on his back. Passed out from the rum. Exactly. It is first thing on a Monday morning. It makes sense. All right, so now that volume cliff that was support is becoming resistance. So same as before, if they were piling onto shorts there and then it broke through, if they're now piling onto, I'm sorry, if they piled onto longs there and it broke through and they're now piling onto shorts, could cause the same effect when we get back through to the upside. So I would say if we can get back through 36.90, I will be bullish once again. All right, well, I'm bullish once again. Looking to head up and repair the week high at 36.97 and then look for that to become support. So pushing through above this previous high and then coming back down and finding support. Johnny says some tech stocks at a critical level also to have a pop. Well, the Nasdaq will like that. Man, all my Amazon Day packages just arrived at the same time. Now it feels like Christmas. I've got like tons of boxes to open. Okay, so market just created a poor high. Poor high often causes the market to push away from the direction of the high, looking for support, and then it comes back to repair it. So that is actually bullish to see. The high remains poor and in need of repair. Okay, there's the repair of the poor high. So now we're looking for the market to push up into the 3710s, find some resistance, and then come back and try to turn this area around the A period high into support, as it was the high from Thursday. Mario, how do you determine a poor high from a strong high? Well, strong high probably isn't quite the right word. It's almost like, is it a bad high or is it not bad? A poor high just basically means that the auction hasn't quite had a chance to finish. And so we can see that when there's only one letter separating the current high from a previous high in the day. So the A period is right here. When the B period was here, it was poor, here it was poor, and here it was poor. So all that told us was when it came up and stopped there, it needed to keep going a little bit further. The repair of that poor high was when we got two letters above the A. And that just means everyone who wanted a chance to go long has had it. So now we find out, are there new buyers or not? And so far there is, which is bullish. Exposed without a tail, it could be considered a poor high. Yes, sir. What we're always looking for at the high and low of the day is what we call a buying tail or selling tail. We want there to be a line of letters that are all by themselves at the high and the low of the day. That is a sign that the auction had a chance to go as far as it needed to go, and it's ready to turn around and start going the other direction. And we always want to see at least 2 letters to know that it's a good high or a weak one. Screwball next. Yep, they're doing it again. This does not bode well for continuation beyond yesterday's high, Friday's high. Just because this is definitely short-term traders speculating here. But they're still in charge, so we'll let them push it as far as they can. Fin, light volume at the highs and lows equals weak, could be a sign of resistance. Kind of the opposite, right? It's like if you have good taper on the volume, like let's say you had, 5,000, 4,000, 3,000, 2,000 contracts, something like that, where the volume is tapering off. That is a sign that auction has come to an end and that they're ready to turn around and head the other way. So you're absolutely right that would be a sign of resistance and that the market wants to pull back. But we would actually see that as a good high is how we wouldn't call it weak. We'd call it actually strong, so to speak, because that's what we want to see. We want to see less and less volume as we go higher. Alexa, do you trade any patterns like ABCD, for example? I do not. So the way I trade is purely discretionary. Every single entry is its own thing. I don't have like an exact way. I take trades. I just look for, the first question I'm asking myself is, what is the market trying to do? And how good of a job is it doing of it? When I feel like I have an answer for that question, so right now the market's trying to go higher. I think they're trying to get to Friday's high, and they're doing a pretty good job of it. Not great. We've talked about these volume cliffs. They are a sign that this is short-term traders, so I don't think we're going to have a trend day all day long. But for now, they're in charge and they are pushing the market higher. So once I have an answer to that question, I think I know what the market is doing, and I think they're doing a good job of it, meaning I think they're going to keep going. Whether that is I think they're going to keep going up, keep going down, or keep going sideways, then I know how to trade it. I already have a system. So in a case like this where I'm bullish, I'm literally buying support and selling resistance. I know that sounds overly simplistic, but that's really just all I do. I pick a level where I think the market is going to pull back down and find support. I put a limit order in to buy there. I pick a level where I think the market is going to find resistance, and I put a take profit level there. I pick a level where I think the market will not break. Like if it's going to head up here and it's going to test this resistance, this support should hold, and that's where I put my stop. And every single trade is its own thing based on whatever's happening in the market at that moment. Hey Alexa, play Jay's least favorite music. Alexa, play some smooth jazz for Jay. Madra, would you give us an example of support and resistance levels? Yeah, absolutely. So obviously I've got the arrow to the first potential support right here, which is basically the high from Thursday. Let me just zoom out a little bit. It's not exactly the high from Thursday, but it's where that little node of volume started. So that's your first potential support right there. The next potential support is this large node that's just above the halfback at 36.85, and then the halfback itself a couple points below. So those are your three supports that you would consider buying at. And you might say to yourself, okay, well, they've done so much work to get the market up here. If they're going to continue to push it higher, right? Where will I know I'm wrong and they can't keep pushing it higher? Well, I would also say that same node right there around halfback. If they break back below that, they're probably heading down towards the opening price. So if I was looking to enter right now, my entries would be somewhere in this range right here, okay, with my stop below that halfback. My target, and again, it depends what kind of trader you are. If I'm looking for a very quick trade, I'm going to look at this node right up here, which was left behind as potential resistance, and I'm going to be looking to take profits in here, okay? If I'd rather wait, if I want to be a little more patient, I could wait to test Friday's high. So you could be looking to buy here with a stop below here, targeting here. That's one trade setup. Or you could do the same trade targeting a closer trade setup. Higher probability of working, less profits if you do. And so then you just decide which are you targeting. Are you targeting this level or this level up here? And then you choose your position size accordingly. Alexa, what time frame do you show your halfback on? Excuse me. I've got the halfbacks for each 30-minute over here on the expanded out profile on the right. You can see those halfbacks for each 30-minute. Those do sometimes act as support resistance, but I don't ever have enough confidence in it to actually put a trade there. But it is something that acts as support and resistance. But the main halfback I'm focused on is this one here, which is the halfback for the day's range. So from 9:30 in the morning until 4 p.m., that's the halfback that I'm focused on. And it changes throughout the day. As the market pushes higher, it pulls it higher. You can essentially think about it like a Fibonacci retracement. If they were too scared to buy up here, the halfback is like getting to buy it at 50% off. It's on sale. Gotta have it. Andrew, well, it's not on sale compared to the last few days. Well, that's true. But yeah, we're just talking about intraday, why it works as a signal. Chilling with Dylan, did you get a soundboard? I did. Now that you're mentioning it, I totally forgot about that during the Amazon day. Oh no. Oh, I could have got a soundboard. Oh well. No, I haven't got one yet. Will do though. Will do. All right, guys. Well, unfortunately, that's it for us here on the public stream. It's time for me to say goodbye. Goodbye to you. And wish you all the best of luck for the rest of the day with your trading. It's tricky. It's hard for me to give you much insight moving forward beyond the next few minutes. I am still bullish here that we're going to head up and test Friday's high. But I will change my mind if we start to pull the C period below the B period low. So we get below like 36.78. Then I'll be thinking we're heading back down to repair the weak A period low. But as long as we can maintain support up here, I think they're going to keep trying to take the market higher. I'm making note of the fact that those advancers versus decliners remain pegged. And often when days are like this, where the market is like slowly grinding higher and it seems really hard to get into trades, sometimes that can be the signal that lets you do it. So I remain bullish here. Beyond yesterday's high, beyond Friday's high, I do not know. We'll have to just wait and see. There's a very real chance we just poke above there and then come crashing and burning back down. But I am bullish to test that. And I will change my mind if we break back below 80, like I said. So with that, I say good luck and enjoy the day. We'll see you here tomorrow morning. Thank you very much. Members of the brigade, hoist the mainsail. Lift the anchor. Away with us.